So we have learned the rules for transformations, and those rules that we've learned still apply to monomial functions. So if I look at this function right here, f of x equals 3 in parentheses x plus 2 close parenthesis to the power of 3, I can tell a couple things. First of all, I can tell that this function has had a stretch of 3, right? The next thing I can tell is that its origin in all its points has shifted vertically to the left 2 points, right? And I can also see that this function in general is to the power of 3, which means it has that cube look, right? So if I want to graph it, I already have some good information here. I know that the origin, which normally is at 0, 0, is going to shift to negative 2, right? So look, it would be over here. Then I know also that it would have other points, right? The point that used to be at 1, 1 would technically also shift 2 units to the left, making it at negative 1, 1. And the other point would be at negative 3, negative 1, right? Now, that would be the points of those 3 points that we've learned so far without the stretch, right? But we have this stretch. And we know that for vertical stretch, we would have to multiply the y, right? So this point right here would actually be up 3, right? Because 1 times 3 would be 3, so it would be right there. And the other point at negative 3, negative 1, would be also, the y would be multiplied by 3, moving it down to negative 3, negative 3, right? So that's with our stretch. Now, sometimes you want a more accurate graph, and another point that we could easily solve for would be the y-intercept. Now, if I think of y-intercept means that that's the point at which it crosses the y-axis, right? Which means that at that point, the x is 0. So to solve for the y-intercept, I would be solving for f of 0, because the x would be 0 at the y-intercept. That means I'm going to plug 0 in for all of my x's, right? So 0 plus 2, still cubed, and then we follow our order of operations. So it's, okay, 3 outside, 0 plus 2 is still 2, it's going to be cubed, so that means it's going to be 3 times 8, and 3 times 8 is going to be equal to 24. Right? So the y-intercept is going to be at 0, 24. So pretty high up, right? All the way even past the points that we have. So it would be all the way approximately up here, right? So then if I wanted to combine all of my points, I would say, okay, remember the cube has that kind of almost like S-ish shape, right? Goes like that and keeps going down and down and down and down. So that would be the sketch of this monomial function.